Belén Hípola from economics presents the effect of reducing grade retention on student performance and dropout in Brazil.
Did you know that 1/3 of students in Brazil repeat a grade at some point? Grade retention or repetition is an education policy that is applied when a student does not meet the minimum requirements in order to be promoted to the next grade and is held back. In Brazil, and more broadly in Latin America, this is common practice, and many students experience grade retention each year. This led me to wonder whether we're sure this policy is working the way it should. Is it really improving the student outcomes we care about, like achievement and high school completion, or is it doing more harm than good? The little evidence we have on this doesn't show a consensus. So with my thesis, I contribute to building this empirical evidence on the effects of grade retention policies. However, this is not an easy task, because correlation does not imply causation. This means that if we take the test scores of students who have repeated a grade and compare them to the test scores of students who haven't repeated a grade, we're mixing up the effects of the policy itself, which is what we're trying to estimate, with other characteristics like motivation or ability, which affect both test scores and the likelihood of repeating a grade. So how can we disentangle this? Fortunately, new econometric methods have been developed that allow us to isolate a policy's causal effects. I use one of these methods called staggered difference in differences in the context of a policy that decreased retention rates in Distrito Federal, a state in Brazil. The policy was progressively introduced across schools in Distrito Federal between 2013 and 2018. And the fact that schools adopted the policy at different moments in time within this period is key for my model to estimate these causal effects. I gathered data from the school census, which covers the over 1,200 schools in Distrito Federal, and I combine it with test score data from standardized tests taken by fifth graders every 2 years. My results show that this policy, decreasing retention rates, increased enrollment by 10% on average. It had no effect on math test scores, and it decreased Portuguese test scores. So now that we know this, we can start thinking about how to improve this policy. And we could think about complementing it with targeted educational support, such as tutoring, for those students who are behind in Portuguese. And that way, we could keep those huge positive effects from enrollment. Therefore, with my thesis, I evaluated a policy that decreased retention rates in Brazil. However, the effort must not stop here. With so many students going through grade retention each year and worldwide, it's crucial that we keep producing empirical evidence to improve the design of these policies. Thank you.